Hello race fans and welcome back to the Chinese Grand Prix. After a 2-year hiatus, we're back at the Shanghai International Circuit for what is no doubt going to be an amazing Formula 1 race. And after the banger of a race we had in Bahrain, surely this one will only carry on the hype. Let's look to your practice report. At the Chinese Grand Prix, Yuki Tsunoda got the better of his teammate Kato Watanabe in practice 1, albeit on the softer tires. While Kato Watanabe did not participate in practice 2, he waited till the end of practice 3 to do some wet tire running because the forecast does show rain to happen on Sunday. Toyota brought in an ERS upgrade that puts it up to 4th in the pecking order, challenging Aston Martin for that best of the rest. But a shock announcement is the announcement that Uterp, a musical streaming platform recently made in Japan, is going to come and be a sponsor on Toyota's car, replacing Zenetto watch brand. And Kato Watanabe's setup looks to be a wet setup, hoping to capitalize on the wet weather portion of the race. Here goes Kato Watanabe through turns 9 into turn 10. He's a little wide as he goes out. Takes a lot of exit curve. And he almost loses the back end. Kato Watanabe goes across the grass. And that's surely compromised his lap time. That Toyota TF111 looks very, very hard to control. Almost like the Red Bull RB16 was. And here we go. Heading into the final corner. Kato Watanabe having got that rear end under control across the line. And is only P7. And now, through the hairpin of turn 14 into turn 15 now, a much more respectable lap time from the Toyota driver. Almost a second and a half up on his previous time, having gotten control of that erratic rear end of that Toyota. Crossing the line, what's the time going to be in? It's P4, a very respectable time. Yuki Tsunoda finishes 12th, so a good result for the Toyota drivers, but we lose both Haas's, Williams, and Alfa Romeo's. And news from the garage is that Kato Watanabe is suffering from some sort of electrical systems fault. So he will attend Q2, but it'll be delayed. Through the final corner now, heading towards the final turn. Kato Watanabe, a good lap from the Toyota driver, who finally is able to put up a representative lap time as he crosses the line, and it's P2, 4/10 behind Perez. And now heading towards the line, purple middle sector for the Toyota driver. Braking into the hairpin, gets good rotation on the car, and he's up by about 3/10. He lost a bit of time to the hairpin, but he's gaining it all back in the run towards the final corner. Nails that corner, 5/10 up on his previous time. What's that going to be for Kato Watanabe as he crosses the line and he tops the session? A good run from the Toyota driver. Crucially though, his title challengers, Max Verstappen and Lewis Hamilton, were able to qualify in the medium tires. So they'll have a bit of a more longevity in their tire life. But Yuki Tsunoda unfortunately gets eliminated from Q2. And here we go, heading towards the final corner. Kato Watanabe, seeing if he can get some of that pacey unlocked in that final qualifying session, in that last qualifying session, P4. And now towards the final turn, almost 9/10 up on his previous lap time. So these new soft tires are working wonders for the Toyota driver. A second up now into the final corner. Surely he's going to gun for that pole position that he was unable to achieve in Bahrain. He crosses the line. What's it going to be? Only P3, but respectable considering where Toyota is in the pecking order. But behind his title challengers, this is surely going to be an exciting race to watch from lights out. Welcome along, race fans. We're here 2 years since the last Chinese Grand Prix at the Shanghai International Circuit. But once again, Formula 1 has returned with its new regulations to this iconic fan favorite venue. And I can't wait to see what this race has in store for us heading into this Chinese Grand Prix. And here we are for the Shanghai International Circuit, a very unusual layout that we have here in China. Very long back straight, which will lead into the hairpin of turn 14, which could possibly lead to some good moves. But don't forget, turn 6, where Daniel Ricciardo pulled an amazing dive bomb on the Mercedes to take a win in 2018 for Red Bull. And here we are, headed onto the starting grid for the Chinese Grand Prix, and it's looking ominous in the skies. Rain is forecast to come towards the beginning stages of this race, but at the moment all the drivers are starting on dry compound tires because the rain is yet to fall. But with the dark, ominous, brooding clouds hovering over the circuit, surely the sky is going to open up eventually. And Kato Watanabe, having made some great lap times on a compromised setup that was optimized for wet weather running, surely he's going to have some great pace when the rain begins to fall. But he'll have to get by two world-class talents in Lewis Hamilton and Max Verstappen to see if we can unleash any of that pace. Let's see what this race has in store for us. And here's the starting grid for the Chinese Grand Prix. The first one in almost 2 years. Lewis Hamilton and Max Verstappen complete the front row. This is their second time this season that these two find themselves right next to each other at the front of the grid. Let's see if we'll have just an exciting start. Keita Watanabe third, Valtteri Bottas fourth, Perez fifth, and Lando Norris gets P6. Charles Leclerc 7th, Daniel Ricciardo 8th, Sebastian Vettel 9th, and Fernando Alonso completes the top 10. Carlos Sainz a disappointing end to qualifying, along with Yuki Tsunoda in 12th, Stroll 13th, Pierre Gasly 14th, Esteban Ocon 15th, Antonio Giovinazzi 16th, Raikkonen 17th, Mick Schumacher in 18th, Sato 19th, Russell 20th, and Mazepin 21st, and Latifi completes the back of the grid again. Here we go. Let's see what this race has in store for us and how far they can go before the rain comes. Here we go, the 5 red lights for the Chinese Grand Prix here at the Shanghai International Circuit. It's lights out and off they go, and it's a decent start from the Toyota and from the front row. Perez gets an amazing start off the line. It's going to go up the inside into the snail curve, and Watanabe goes wide. Watanabe goes wide. He's struggling with the balance of the car. Again, we've seen some of the balance problems in qualifying, and with the two drivers ahead on the medium tires, Watanabe is going to have to make use of the better grip on the softs if he wants to have any chance of gaining positions on these two. But Perez has supreme grip and pace heading into the turn 6, but Watanabe pulls an amazing dive bomb, Daniel Ricciardo-esque, into that corner and retakes P3, but he's compromised. He's having trouble in the warm-up phase. The soft tires are not gripping to the cold track surface, and he's going wide through turn 7. Perez is going to go on the outside. Watanabe is going to hug a lot of curbs. If he gets him inside, he loses the back end. He manages to control it, and there's contact between him and Valtteri Bottas in the back. What happened there? Watanabe's lost the place. This surely is going to compromise the way his race is going to run. Let's see here. This is the replay on from Valtteri Bottas to see what exactly. Oh, that's a broken front wing. I mean, that was a racing incident. Watanabe just got some oversteer when he went on that curve, and unfortunately, the contact was inevitable.
What a
Ooh dear, our current champion is not going to like that. On lap 4 now, Watanabe trying to make up place on Perez. And did that rain? The rain is starting to fall on the Shanghai International Circuit. So now, it's going to be soon where the drivers are going to switch to intermediates, and maybe Watanabe can find some pace then. And look at this. We're only a few corners into the lap, and look how wet the circuit is. The rain is pouring down onto the circuit. And you can see just how much Watanabe is struggling on those slick tires. Keep in mind, the slicks don't have really much grooves like our common road tires, so it's like driving on ice for these Formula 1 drivers. Incredible car control, and Watanabe goes wide again. He goes across the grass, has to keep the wheel straight from not sliding, and surely there's a time to pit. And here goes Watanabe into the pit stops now, and he's gonna have to control it through the tight pit entry into the pit lane here at Shanghai. And well, thankfully, that's not a gravel trap. You can talk to Lewis Hamilton back in 2007, who lost the championship in his rookie season because there used to be a gravel trap at the end of that pit lane. Thankfully, now at the tarmac, Watanabe is going to be thankful that they made that change. As now he enters the pit lane, Sergio Perez and Daniel Ricciardo go for another lap, which is going to be a humongously treacherous for those two drivers. Watanabe, a slow pit stop from him, and as his team, Toyota, prepares the double stack with Yuki Tsunoda right behind him. And it's strange that McLaren or Red Bull didn't decide to double stack, because surely it's going to compromise their second drivers. And now heading into the final corner, Verstappen and Ricciardo pit for intermediate tires, and now Watanabe is finally going to get by Sergio Perez, and now with clean air, but with Max Verstappen 8 seconds up the road, Watanabe's got to have a lot of work to do if he wants to challenge the two front runners. And here he goes through the snail curve, and the grip is surely there with that extra downforce. Now, into the final corner once again, and Hamilton Verstappen pit for a second set of intermediate tires. We know the degradation around this circuit is very high, but Watanabe stays out. He's staying out. Now, this could mean many things. Could Watanabe be trying to go to the end of the race on one set of intermediate tires? Could be possible, but like we mentioned earlier, the tire degradation around this circuit is very, very harsh. So, can he get those intermediates to the end of the race? But also, our forecast is showing that there could be a dry spell towards the end. So if the rain is able to stop and it's no longer suitable for wet weather tires, could he be trying to extend the stint to dry compound tires? We'll have to wait and see. And here goes Watanabe into the pit lane. It doesn't look like the rain is really stopping. And with only a 14-second gap to the cars behind, surely he's going to lose the lead of this Grand Prix as he enters the pit lane. It's probably going to be for another set of intermediates because look at that rain. The pit lane is so wet. It'd be a mistake and a half to try and see if he can get some lap time from soft tires or any sort of dry compound tires at this rate. Watanabe gets a pit stop. This is another kind of slow pit stop from the boys and girls at Toyota Racing, and Max Verstappen and Lewis Hamilton down the main straight past Watanabe. But now with the better grip than the drivers ahead, surely Watanabe will be able to find some extra lap time. On the penultimate lap here, and heading into the second sector, Watanabe is about a second behind, and the stewards enable DRS. DRS is enabled, and Watanabe is surely going to give him an extra push, an extra drive to see if he can catch up to Max Verstappen. He's within a second, so surely DRS will help him. But the rain's still falling. It's going to be quite treacherous, but Watanabe's finding grip in crazy places. Onto the final lap we go, down the long back straight. This is Watanabe's best chance, but he's very far back. Is he going to get DRS? He is! He was able to get within the detection point, but he's about a second behind Max Verstappen, and surely he won't be able to make this dive bomb stick. Into the hairpin we go. Verstappen is just ahead, but Watanabe is so close. And into the corner. Good exit will do it. And he gets oversteer! He catches the car, but that's surely lost him second place. Watanabe will take the podium as Lewis Hamilton, an amazing wet weather drive from the 7-time world champion, and he wins the Chinese Grand Prix. Max Verstappen too, and Watanabe surely is going to be kicking himself for not capitalizing on the pace that he showed at the end of that race. That rear end of that Toyota is going to be a struggle for this season. But Watanabe, P3, a very respectable result. And Lewis Hamilton, with that win and fastest lap, ties for the lead of the Drivers' Championship with Kato Watanabe and Max Verstappen very close behind as well. Good drive from the McLaren of Lando Norris, and Esteban Ocon coming from P15 back to the point is an impressive drive for the Frenchman. Unfortunately, Valtteri Bottas in P12, he's not going to be happy with that, considering that this is supposed to be his title defense, and Yuki Tsunoda again just misses out on the points. Those points are surely to come for the young Japanese driver, but unfortunately he's going to have to wait just a little longer for that day to come. And Daniel Ricciardo, a disappointing race for the Australian down in P14, compromised by the pit stops, along with Sergio Perez, who looked for a better result this time around. But in the Drivers' Championship, Kato Watanabe and Lewis Hamilton tied on 41 points, and Max Verstappen only 5 points behind, and Valtteri Bottas still a ways away. Red Bull take the lead at Constructors, 3 points over Mercedes and 15 over Toyota. McLaren and Ferrari make up some positions. What a great race for Lewis Hamilton, and a great race for Kato Watanabe, whose title chances are still there, but he's going to have to find some extra pace as we head to the circuit Barcelona, Catalunya for the Spanish Grand Prix next time out. Hopefully you'll join us then for another cracking race in this 2022 season. For now, that's it from us here. Goodbye.